Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving deep into Paulo Coelho's incredible classic, The Alchemist. We're going to unlock its powerful message about finding your true path in life and, just as importantly, what it actually takes to follow it.
So let's just jump right in with the book's most famous line. Now, this is way more than just a nice, hopeful saying. Coelho is actually presenting this as a fundamental law of the universe. It's this core belief that our deepest, truest desires are totally in sync with the world itself. And this powerful desire, it actually has a name in the book, our personal legend. This idea is the central pillar of Coelho's entire philosophy, so let's really unpack what he means by that.
And you can see right away, this is so much deeper than just a simple goal or some dream you have. It's framed as your true purpose, a calling that comes from what Coelho calls the soul of the universe. And the book basically argues that following this path, it's not just an option, it's your one true obligation in life.
But, to even get started on this journey, you first have to reject what the book calls the world's greatest lie. And that's the idea that we're just powerless, that we're victims of fate. I mean, that's a really powerful call to action, right? It's urging us to believe we can and that we must shape our own destiny.
Okay, so if this is our only real obligation, why don't more people do it? Why do so few of us actually follow our personal legend? Well, Coelho argues it's because most of us get completely stopped in our tracks by 4 universal obstacles.
And here they are. These are the 4 big hurdles that pretty much everyone faces on their journey. First, the belief that our dream is just impossible. Second, the fear of hurting the people we love. Third, the fear of failure. And maybe the most surprising one, the fear of actually succeeding. Let's take a closer look at each one.
So that first obstacle, it usually starts way back in childhood. It's that constant voice of doubt, from others and eventually from ourselves, that tells us our dreams are just unrealistic. And over time, this buries our true calling under all these layers of fear and prejudice and even guilt.
Okay, next up is love. We start to worry that chasing our dream means we have to abandon or hurt the people we care about. The book argues we mistakenly see our relationships as these anchors holding us back, when really, true love should be the wind in our sails, pushing us forward.
And then, of course, there's that crushing fear of failure. I mean, when you're fighting for something that feels like your very purpose, the stakes feel unbelievably high. Just the thought of all that effort, all that passion leading to defeat, well, it can be totally paralyzing before you even start.
All right, and this last one is really interesting, and maybe a little counterintuitive, the fear of success. We might get to the finish line and suddenly feel like we don't deserve it, or feel guilty for achieving something that so many others couldn't. It's a weird twist, right? It can actually lead us to sabotage ourselves right when we're about to get the treasure.
So that's the big question, isn't it? How in the world do we get past these huge obstacles? And the cool thing is, the book doesn't just give us a list, it actually shows us the way, through the journey of a young shepherd boy named Santiago.
So we meet Santiago, and he's at this huge crossroads in his life. On one hand, he's got his comfortable, predictable life as a shepherd. It's safe, he knows it, he's good at it. On the other hand, he can chase a treasure from a recurring dream, a path that leads into the complete unknown, filled with all sorts of danger and uncertainty. And what does he do? He makes the courageous choice. He literally sells his flock, leaves his entire world behind to answer the call, choosing the uncertain path of his personal legend over the safety of a life he had already completely mastered.
But of course, the journey is never that simple, right? It's not a straight line. The moment Santiago arrives in this new land, he's hit with total disaster. But this disaster, this huge setback, actually forces him to learn one of the most critical lessons of his entire journey. I mean, the minute he gets there, he's robbed of every single thing he has. It's a devastating blow, and that could have been the end of his story right there. But instead of just giving up and going home, he spends a whole year working in a crystal shop, and he turns this massive failure into this period of incredible growth and learning. And it's there, in that shop, that he meets the crystal merchant. And this guy is the perfect embodiment of that 4th obstacle we talked about, the fear of success. He's had this lifelong dream to visit Mecca, but he's just too scared to actually do it. And he shows Santiago the really tragic cost of giving up on your own personal legend.
Okay, so this whole journey, everything Santiago goes through, it all leads us to the book's central metaphor for how to live a really full life. And it's presented to him as this short, simple story from a wise old king.
The setup is super simple, but honestly, it's really profound.
A boy is asked to walk through this magnificent palace and appreciate all of its wonders, but there's a catch. He has to do it while carrying a spoon with 2 drops of oil, and he cannot let a single drop spill.
So he tries twice. The first time, he's so focused on not spilling the oil that he completely misses all the beauty around him. He sees nothing. So he tries again. And this time he's just blown away by all the marvels. But he forgets the spoon. And yep, he spills the oil. Both times he fails.
And this brings us right to the wise king's ultimate lesson. See, the real secret to happiness isn't choosing your big goal or your daily responsibilities. It's about finding the perfect balance between them.
I mean, the takeaway here is just huge. We absolutely have to pursue our grandest dreams, see all the marvels of the world, but we can't neglect the small, vital responsibilities of our daily lives. Those are the drops of oil on the spoon.
And so, as we wrap up, the story leaves us with a really powerful question to ask ourselves. As you're out there, pursuing your own personal legend, exploring all the marvels in your world, what are those drops of oil? What are the essential things that you must never, ever forget?